I, 24F, found hundreds of pics of my brother, 20M, on my boyfriend's, 24M, laptop. Can anyone please explain to me what's going on? I've been with my boyfriend for a year. Our relationship was great, and we honestly never had any serious problems. We both have full-time jobs and live together. He's good friends with my younger brother as well, mainly because of their shared interest in fitness, workouts, etc. They hang out a good amount and go to the gym together. In hindsight, the fact that they're good friends makes it all the more creepier. Yesterday, I was home alone, and my BF was at work. I needed to print something out, but my laptop wasn't working at all. My BF has several laptops, and there's one in particular he never uses. At least I've never seen him use it. I thought it was some dusty old thing. I grabbed it, and it was not shut down properly. It took me straight to the photo albums, and there were hundreds of pics of my brother saved. Most were pulled from his social media accounts, but there were also pics of him from his rugby team's website. WTF. This isn't even the worst. There was an album that only consisted of creep shots and videos. Pics of him sleeping, and even videos of him getting changed. You could clearly see in the vids that he wasn't aware of being recorded. What the fucking fuck? The last pic he uploaded was literally last week. This is so creepy, I don't even know what to say. There were also pics of someone's gym clothes, and I'm assuming they're also my brother's. I'm confused, disgusted, and shocked. What the hell is going on? When he came back from work, I just went straight to sleep. I couldn't even face him. I honestly can't think of a good reason he would do this. I mean, straight guys don't usually do this, right? I don't know if I should even confront him about it. Should I ask what this whole thing is about? TLDR boyfriend has tons of pics/videos of my brother saved on his old laptop. It's extremely creepy, and I don't even know how to confront him about it. Relevant comments. Commenter. He's clearly got a thing for your brother. It's not a healthy way of expressing it. Creepy as anything, but it's quite obvious. Confront him. Tell him how uncomfortable it makes you feel. Be prepared to break it off with him. Sorry you're having to deal with this. Oop. It's weird because I never even suspected that he has a thing for my brother. I would have noticed something like that. I honestly can't believe it. Opie added in the comments. I was talking to my brother the other day, and he told me that his dirty clothes keep going missing, and that he's convinced someone at the gym or other places keep stealing it. I just found it kind of funny/weird at that time, but now I'm thinking it's way more fucked up. Top comments. Commenter. It's not just that your boyfriend is sexually attracted to your brother, but that he's clearly obsessive. I'm a single guy, and I will look at Facebook pictures of my crush, but I don't save them to my computer. That's super creepy. And him taking pictures of your brother sleeping sounds criminal. This is a lot worse than your boyfriend being secretly gay. Commenter. Imo saving them isn't so much the concern as is taking creep shots of him. That's a serious WTF. Commenter. I would take the laptop and show my brother, then go to the police to report it. Commenter. I don't recommend confronting him alone. This is some very unhealthy stuff, and I feel like if you corner someone with this sort of thing, he may react in a way that puts you in danger. Don't do that, even if you crave the dramatic airing. Commenter. Yes, I suspect the BF will react very poorly to OP confronting him. And this is a big revelation that could potentially bring to light something the BF wants to hide and is ashamed of. This could be really dangerous to OP. Update. Sorry to disappoint, but this isn't a positive update. I'm still trying to mentally process it all, hence the delayed post. I grabbed the laptop to take pics of the photo albums. I found way more stuff than I originally stumbled upon. A lot of commenters in the OP said that he probably used me to get closer to my brother. I didn't quite believe it at first, but they were right. While I was taking pics of the photo albums, I found more folders. He began saving these pics 4 to 5 months before we started dating, and my brother didn't even know him at that time. That realization sent chills down my spine. I also went on the internet, the bookmarks, the browsing history. It was all horrific. I'm not going to elaborate because it's honestly sickening. It's clear that he has an obsession with my brother and extremely violent and disturbing fantasies about him. I'm not talking about BDSM or bondage, although some of that was there too. This was absolutely messed up, scary stuff. I cannot believe that I was so clueless about everything. I went over to my brother's place and explained everything, showing him proof on the actual laptop. He was shocked/creeped out, of course, but didn't believe that my ex was behind this for different reasons. But he's not gay, he wouldn't do something like this, etc. I wanted to go to the police, but he completely refused. I explained that this isn't just a crush from a seemingly straight friend. This is an unhealthy, psychotic obsession. He completely denied that he was in danger and seemed embarrassed more than anything. I told him that X actually started creeping on him months before the relationship begun and took all these creep shots. Besides, the browsing history and bookmarks were specific to him. It would make anyone freak out. When I showed him the pics of his clothes, he was very confused and asked me why X would steal his dirty clothes, but he still didn't want to go to the police. My plan was actually to confront X in public, but my brother just straight away texted him to come over. Side note, he arrived super fast. I wonder what he was expecting. When X came, I showed him the laptop and asked him to explain. The entire situation was so bizarre. While I was talking, he seemed incredibly angry. I've never seen such a look on his face before. But then he calmed down and casually confessed to everything. He said that it was just a habit he got into and that he's truly sorry. At that point, my brother said that this is probably a prank and that it wasn't funny, etc. I started crying a little and X rolled his eyes and told me to stop crying. He was so nonchalant and cold, I didn't even recognize him anymore. Then he said that he would immediately stop doing this if we kept this to ourselves. I think my brother finally believed him then because he was absolutely dumbstruck. X said that he'd take down the cameras too and that we shouldn't make a big deal out of it. I asked him where the cameras are, and he proceeded to show us. He probably thought he was a good guy for cooperating with us and that it would make the situation less creepy. Turns out, there was a camera in the shower as well. It was nauseating. The conversation that followed was extremely uncomfortable, and X said some very provocative/inappropriate things. They ended up having a huge argument about the stolen clothes amongst other topics, and the rest was pretty awful. I eventually went to stay at a friend's place. I had already packed my stuff anyway. Later that night, X texted me that I'm a bad person for invading his privacy and that I'm selfish, narcissistic, a bad human being, etc. He said that he's willing to forgive me though. Yeah, he really said that. I blocked his number. And on everywhere. A day later, he came to me at work and I told him to stay away from me. He did that every day for 1 week at different locations until I seriously threatened him. He said that he never cared about me anyway and wished me luck for my future relationships. A couple of days ago, my brother texted me. We haven't spoken at all since that day, and apologized, but he still refuses to address the elephant in the room. He's just pretending it never happened. I told him that X is clearly not stable. Why would you not notify the police? I honestly don't know what to do. Is there a way I can report this, just in case? And oh, by the way, it was his 21st birthday yesterday, and I called him in the morning. He told me that he got a present from an unknown sender. I said that the sender is probably not unknown to us. Like, this is 100% my psycho X. I just know it. As I said, this isn't a positive update. A lot of people seem to be concerned, and that's the only reason I posted this. I just hope things don't get worse. TLDR confronted X about the contents of a laptop. He confessed and apologized. My brother doesn't want to talk about the situation at all, and he chose not to go to the police. Top comments. Commenter. Girl, take that whole laptop to the police. I am not kidding, this is very serious. If your brother ends up dead, you will never forgive yourself. Commenter. This needs to be higher up. OP, this guy is showing serious signs of a true psychopath and future serial killer behavior. You are not safe, and neither is your brother. Take that laptop and go to the fucking police, now. Don't wait, don't worry about anything else. And check your brother's house for more cameras instantly if the police doesn't. This is something you don't just stop doing. It's still happening now. You didn't notice before, and you probably wouldn't have noticed it for months if you didn't look on the laptop. The way he talks to you and views the world is truly disturbing, and the way he told you to stop crying? That's psychopath behavior. How he went calm? Same thing. There is a real fucking chance he will try to be near to your brother in some other way, and he'll do something much worse to him than just pictures. Go to the police. Stay safe. Commenter. Your brother is an idiot. I hope he wises up before your ex stashes him in an oubliette and starts lowering lotion down to him in a basket. Final comments from Op. I definitely won't post another update. This is the last one. And I forgot to mention it, but I have the laptop. He said that he was doing us a favor by letting us keep it. I mean, he didn't really put up a fight about it. Thanks for your concern, either way story too. I, 24 female, had accidentally killed my boyfriend's 28 male bird and had said hurtful things to him. I'm afraid that he's going to hate me. I am going to say this now. In no way do I believe that my actions were justified. I hadn't meant to do what I did, and I feel incredibly guilty about the whole situation. I feel like there is no way I can ever apologize to him in a way that would be adequate enough to atone for my actions. We've been dating for 3 years, but have known each other for about 5 or so years. We had always been close friends. He's had depression/anxiety for a majority of his life due to his childhood. Our relationship was more or less perfect. I have always tried my best to be understanding due to some strange habits/attachments that he uses to cope with his illnesses. While his attachments were somewhat unhealthy, in my own opinion, as long as it helped him to cope, I tried not to mind it much. One of his weird attachments was a bird. He had never been addicted to drugs/bodily harm, but had found comfort in this cockatoo that he said that he had since high school. I had never liked birds much, but he says that doing stuff like bird watching had always helped him to take his mind off of any intrusive thoughts. His bird wasn't aggressive or anything, but I wasn't a big fan of it. He had what I considered to be an unhealthy attachment to the bird, but I had never said anything to him about it. These past couple of months, our relationship had been a little rocky. I'm not sure what happened, but he started to avoid me and would clam up whenever I asked him what was wrong. For context, we lived together. This had happened before, but never to this extent/time period. I began to wonder if I had done something wrong or hurt his feelings somehow. He had explained before that sometimes he's just get like this for no reason, and he assured me that it would always pass. It normally would, but this time I wasn't too sure. It had gone on for too long. My boyfriend works from home, and I had the day off. He was in his office doing whatever the hell he does with that damn bird. I swear, he pays more attention to the bird than he does to his own girlfriend. At one point, I went into his office and locked us both inside, demanding that he tell me what the problem is. Bad idea, probably. He hates being cornered, and I knew that and decided to use that against him. He asked for me to unlock the door and to leave, and that he'd talk to me later/in the living room. I refused, once again demanding that he tell me what's wrong, and if he didn't, I'd break up with him. I feel like it was kind of low of me to corner him and threaten him, essentially forcing him to share something that he wasn't comfortable sharing at the time, but that thought didn't cross my mind at that time. I feel terrible, but all I wanted at that time were answers. We had gotten into a heated argument, although one-sided. Admittedly, it was just a slew of insults on my end, and then he started to clam up and the bird ended up stealing his attention once more. I just about had it with him ignoring me to pay attention to his bird, and, in the heat of the moment, told him just that. I clearly remember telling him, just date the damn bird since you obviously love it more than you love me. He tried telling me that it wasn't true, but I guess I wasn't having it, and the end result was him pushing me out the way to unlock the door and him leaving the house. I don't know where he went, but I didn't care. I went to the guest room, as we had a shared bedroom that I did not want to be in at that moment, and I remember crying my eyes out. It was 3 a.m, and he still wasn't back. I had trouble sleeping and was worried about his well-being. During the argument, I had said some things that were based upon a few of his many insecurities and had said some awful things to him that I didn't actually feel about him. I had tried texting him and calling him, but he had left his phone at home. His car was still there, but I have no idea where he could have gone. I had left my room with the intention of getting a snack and then waiting for him to come home to offer an apology. The bird was usually noisy at night, but the house was almost unnervingly quiet. I didn't pay any mind to it. I was walking down the hallway. It was dark when I felt something under my foot. I heard this crunching/snapping, squishy sort of sound. Sleep deprived and groggy, it took me a while to actually realize what had just happened. I moved back, felt along the walls for the light switched to the lights in the hallway. I hadn't turned it on previously because it was bright, and I had been in the dark guest room all night. I figured that there was no hazard, but I forgot that my boyfriend was the one that put the bird in its cage every night. My boyfriend wasn't there. I felt sick. Like genuinely, actually sick. The first thing I did when I realized what I had done was cry. The bird was still moving. I hadn't killed it, but I'm guessing that its spine snapped or something because it was on the floor, kind of sprawled out, struggling to move. I didn't know what to do. I ended up putting it in an empty delivery box and sticking it in the closet in the hallway. Sure, I hated the bird, but I didn't want it to die or anything, much less kill it myself. I hadn't meant to do it. TLDR, got into an argument with my boyfriend, accidentally killed his bird. That was last night. It's now late in the evening, and my boyfriend called to apologize to me for storming out. He told me that he was at his friend's house and staying for another night, that he'd be home in morning. He asked me if I could feed the bird for him. I just told him, okay. I really don't know how to tell him. What if he thinks that I did it on purpose? A majority of that argument was spurred by and spent bashing his obsession with the thing. I said all those hurtful things, and he felt that it was necessary to apologize to me. I feel horrible, like something less than human, and I don't know what to do. He's already in a bad place mentally, and this just puts the icing on the cake. How do I tell him? What do I even say to him? How can I ever make this up to him? Relevant comments. How else was I supposed to get him to listen to me? We live together, yet I rarely see him around the house. He'd avoid me, and I don't know why. Is it wrong to want answers when he's behaving weirdly? He'd just stay cooped up in his office all day and night with the dumb bird, and I'd only see him when he left to get food. People are assuming that he'd be better off if he broke up with me. Why? I'm not an abuser, and 1 a.m. the only support system he has left. I technically didn't lie to him either, so. Commenter. You're a horrible psychopath. Maybe that's why he'd be better. Commenter. Would you feel comfortable if he locked you in a room and demanded you do something he wanted? Not likely. Well, I wouldn't avoid him for a month without explanation, so if it all boils down to it, it's really his own fault that his bird is dead, not mine. Commenter. I will tell him, eventually, when he asks about it. I'm not exactly sure how to bring up the fact that I accidentally killed his bird. Commenter. You call him right the fuck now is what you do. Commenter. You're hiding it from him. On purpose. Because you know he won't stay with you if you say what happened. Up. He'll stay with me either way. He has no choice in the matter. Other than the dumb bird, he has no one else that supports him like I do. Unless he wants to die depressed and lonely, he'll stay with me. That's not my concern. I just want him to understand that it was an accident entirely, so I'm not sure why you're jumping to conclusions. Commenter. You got jealous of a bird, wanted to control his relationship with his bird, and neglected to care for it while he trusted you with it. Congrats, you need mental help. Up. I didn't want to control his relationship with the bird. I just felt like he was too attached to it. I felt it was unhealthy for him to be so obsessed with a bird that was going to die sooner or later, as he had it for a long time. I wasn't jealous. Is it a sin for a girl to want her boyfriend to pay attention to her? Commenter. Cockatoos live for 30+ years. They also require almost 24/7 care, and what we was doing was 100% normal for cockatoo owners. They are one of the most demanding birds for caretaking. You would know this if you talked to him about his hobby, but it doesn't seem like you care much about him in a relationship. You're more worried about him hating you than how he's going to feel about losing his bird he could have had decades more with. Edit, they actually live around 50 years. Up. Even when he wasn't taking care of the bird, he'd do weird things like talk to it. I mean, I get why people talk to dogs, but a bird? We lived together, but I still felt like he was giving the bird more attention than he was giving his own girlfriend. Commenter. Grow the fuck up. He loved his bird. Haven't you ever loved anything beyond yourself? People talk of their pets. How is this such a strange concept to you? Are you a sociopath, OP? You're too immature and mentally unstable to be in a relationship. I hope he realizes this and fucking runs. Update. I'd like to start this off with a thanks for absolutely nothing. I posted to this site for advice, but got nothing but criticism and false accusations. I figured that you guys would appreciate an update and are satisfied with the end result. Uneasy face. He came home this morning, or later in the morning of the incident, as it had happened at 3 a.m. He came home around 8 or 9 a.m. We talked for a bit about what happened, and he seemed to be fine for the most part. He was hesitant in asking if I had fed the bird like he had asked me to. I told him no, and he asked me why. I told him that I couldn't find the bird. He gave me a weird look. I'm not even sure what kind of expression it was, sort of like a grimace, and he asked me again where the bird was. I told him the story of how I had accidentally stepped on it, and he immediately told me that it was bullshit. He told me that the bird was trained to return to his cage after sunset, and that it wouldn't just lie down in the middle of the hallway like that at 3 in the morning, much like you guys said, except I was telling the truth. I had never seen him so upset or angry for that matter. He accused me of killing the bird on purpose, which is something I didn't do, and something that no one believed me when I say that was an accident, for whatever reason. He asked me to leave the house, and I refused, as I didn't know if he was planning to hurt himself or something if I left. He locked himself inside his office, and he won't talk to me. I fear for his well-being, and I won't be there to stop him if he tries to do anything drastic. TLDR, boyfriend is convinced that I killed the bird on purpose, which I didn't. Has been in his office all morning to this afternoon, and I can't get him to talk to me / come out. How do I get him to listen to me? A majority of you are convinced that I killed the bird on purpose, and that I'm abusive even though that is not the case. It was an accident, and I am being misunderstood. I just don't know what to do. Story 3. The men in our office use the women's bathrooms. Only for pooping. This is something that has bothered me for quite a long time, and I don't know if there was any way to address it differently. I no longer work in this office, but I'm still close with several people there, and am at a loss that this continues. To be blunt, the men in the office specifically use the women's restroom when they need to. Take a number 2. I can't believe I have to say that. It's a small business with about 20 people and only 3 women. There are 2 restrooms, one for men and one for women. Now, seeing as how there's significantly more men than women, I would not be against gender-neutral restrooms. Whatever. But that's not the case. And here's what's happening. When the gentlemen need to use the restroom for that longer period of time, they use the women's room. Not just a few of the guys, we started trying to get a pulse on whether or not this was one person being weird, or if it was a more widespread issue, and it's widespread. This is probably half the men in the office. Why is this a problem? Well, we have a cleaning crew that comes in once a week and restocks the restrooms and all that. We women do a little extra cleaning, make sure we have toilet paper, etc., while the men do not. If I have to use the restroom, and it's occupied by a dude taking his time, seriously, 30+ minutes sometimes, I do not want to use their gross restroom with pee on the seat that doesn't have toilet paper in it. Somehow, they are able to make it disgusting within a day of it being cleaned. And if I wait for the bathroom to open up, they will use the women's room, even if the men's room is open. Doing a potty dance at my desk, the smell is horrific. Because I live close by, there were times I literally went home to use the restroom because I was waiting for so long. I have no issue with the guys using the women's room if the men's room is in use. I get it. If you have to go, you have to go. But using it exclusively as the place you take a dump for 30 minutes is just beyond crazy to me. So we women talked to our boss, who is the CEO, and an email was sent out saying, hey, if the men's room is occupied, sure, use the women's room, but please keep it clean, and please do not utilize the women's room when you need some extra time. Did things improve? Not even a bit. And what's worse, one day when we were potty dancing around, out of the women's room walks the CEO. We mentioned it again, and he said he would bring it up with the manager of the tech team, all dudes, to talk to them again, but there's been no change. Like I said, I don't work there anymore, but my friends do. We are brainstorming trying to come up with something, anything, to try and get through to people that this is weird and shouldn't be done. Please, Allison, do you have any advice for this insanity? Update 1 month later. I have an update on already. First off, thank you to all the commenters who confirmed that our feelings that this whole situation was ridiculous were valid. Sometimes we felt like we were going crazy. The AAM community also picked up on something quite accurately. There were serious issues of misogyny taking place in the workplace beyond the bathrooms. I could spend a ton of time on that, but I will just leave it at this. I didn't particularly consider the bathroom issue to be related to those issues of sexism, but some very valid points were made. Sia Calliope nailed it on the head in their comment. Is anything actually more petty than pooping in a place that is specifically delimited for use by other people? It is literally how animals assert dominance. Also, I don't know why we never just suggested that the bathroom be cleaned more often. Seriously, such a simple solution, and it never occurred to us that once a week wasn't enough for some reason. Well, I have some exciting news that is not directly related to the bathroom situation, but a change to the overall workplace, which has made an impact. The owners, including the CEO who was a culprit in the bathroom situation, decided to sell the business. The new owners, 2 men and 1 woman, are wonderful and immediately stepped in and made changes for the employees that were incredible. Better benefits and even better pay for people who, after learning about their duties, they identified as underpaid. Everyone there is really excited. But here's the really fun part. Former CFO, a blatant sexist who made inappropriate comments and called people, mostly women, stupid, apparently had a little trouble letting go. He tried to refuse to give his passwords to the financial systems over after the sale was finalized. He came into the office after he was supposed to be officially out and went to his old office, continued to refuse to give over his passwords and his building key. He had the only master key. The only one of the new owners who was in the office was the woman, whom I will call Shara. Shara excused herself from a meeting when she was notified that old CFO was in his old office and went to speak to him. According to my friend, there was door slamming and screaming from him. I wish I could be a fly on the wall as a woman told this sexist jerk that he needed to act like a grown-up and get out. After he left, they called a locksmith to change the building locks, change the security codes, disabled all his accounts, etc., etc. It was truly a glorious day that I lived vicariously through my friend. So in a short period of time, the new owners have already changed the culture of the workplace. It's no nonsense, and the employees feel taken care of and respected. The bathroom issue specifically isn't resolved necessarily, but I have a feeling that just the new atmosphere of respect will have an impact. Update 2, 1 year later. I am sad to say that Shara and the other new owners were not all that they seemed. By all accounts, things were pretty great for a couple months after the old owners were out, and the entire debacle from my last update about her having to throw out the former CFO who was having a tantrum was pretty wonderful. Employees were happy, there was pay parity and good benefits. Sadly, this is not a fairy tale. Quick backstory. The new owners also own another business, and this one is their second. The other business is the home office, and they spend most of their time there, and it's a couple of hours away. The business is similar, but not the same. Because of this, I guess they now started to look at everyone in this office as working remotely, despite them working in the same location they've always been working in, with the same managers, etc. But they didn't hire those managers, and they had trust issues. Work started being distributed in ways that made no sense, and they started interjecting into client communications and negotiations without really being fully present and understanding the situations, which resulted in some losses, and then they decided that firing some of the existing managers and bringing in new ones would solve their problems. My friend was pretty unhappy with the way things were going down, including some issues with a new PTO policy, which was illegal by the way, but she was sticking it out as any type of acquisition is expected to cause some turmoil. Then Shara, and I now regret giving her that pseudonym, made her stance on things particularly well known by accidentally emailing my friend instead of one of the other owners, and the email contained a list of complaints about her, things like not responding to emails fast enough being within minutes, written in A. less than professional tone. They were trying to micromanage from a distance and just refused to trust people to be adults and do their jobs, even people they previously identified as high performers who they even gave raises to. For my friend, there was really no coming back from this, and she decided to resign, and she wasn't the only one. As far as the bathroom goes, we will not know if it ever gets resolved, as all of my friends who still work there have now moved on. That said, Shara is now the only woman left in the office and is only there 1 or 2 days a week, so it's probably a non-issue now.